Welcome to Volo, Guide to Monsters. As far as our opening hand, yeah, we'll keep on this one. I like it. We've got 3 lands. We've got Skyshark, Claim, and Chromatic Lantern. Yes, we will keep on this one. And we've got just a misfit of a creature package in this deck. Oh my goodness, this is... If you were to take like 20 blue-green draft decks from the last few Magic sets and Hunger Game them all, this would be the creature package. I love it. Let's go and lead off with Thornwood Falls, Enter Battlefield tapped, and we're going to get ahead on the life total race. We're going to go to 4140, which is oh so important against Atraxa. Kinda, maybe. But anyways, let's go and pass turn over to opponent. We're playing Volo, Guide to Monsters. Whenever you cast a creature spell that doesn't share a creature type with a creature you control or a creature card in your graveyard, copy that spell. And other than me making a super small creature line of play overlap, everything in this deck should be independent of each other, which is very interesting. It was a lot of Scryfall tags as I was going through there. All right, so we do have Ponder. So we have access to Ponder. Let's go and drop in Polluted Delta. There's nothing we can do for 2, so let's go and crack Polluted Delta. Let's go and grab ourselves Tropical Island. Let's go for Ponder, and also Ponder Alert, if you didn't know. There's a guy hanging out in the background of Ponder, and that's going to be Mana Crypt, Catacombs, and Woodland Stream. And actually, I kind of like this a lot. So let's put Woodland Stream on top, let's put Catacombs on top, and we'll put Mana Crypt on top, and not going to shuffle our library. That way we can play Mana Crypt and go for Chromatic Lantern. It's going to be 1-2. I like this. Anything else, pass the turn to our opponent, because we do have the fetch land on top that'll shuffle away that last land. And we'll be in a pretty good spot. And also, with us getting off to a quick start against Atraxa, I'll take it. Can't tell you how many times Atraxa's beat me, so good luck, Atraxa. That's all we're going to say about this quick start. We'll probably still end up losing. All right, so we're playing against Atraxa, Praetors Voice, Flying, Vigilance, Death Touch, and Lifelink. Then at the beginning of your end step, Proliferate. So we did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, TCG Player. If you go to bit.ly/JoltMTG, that will apply my affiliate link. That will allow you to get some cards and help support the channel at the same time. And outside of being a patron, it's one of the best ways to support the channel because it costs you nothing. Let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders and Ink Gaming. And last but not least, I started a Patreon, so if you'd like to directly support cool content like this, there's a link down in the description below. But if you're keeping score at home, it's officially free time, and that was, we got the Mana Crypt trigger. All right, so let's drop in Catacombs, and that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be just enough for Volo. So let's go ahead and crack Catacombs. We're going to go and grab ourselves a Breeding Pool. We're going to pay 2 on this one. Yes, we'll pay 2 life. Let's go for Skyshark Claim. Let's get this popped out. There we go. And let's just go Double Forest down the line. Those are going to enter the battlefield untapped. Let's drop it in Volo. That's going to be 1-2. And we'll see if our opponent's got Counterspell or Removal. And it helps if we tap down the last one for blue. There we go. Let's see. We're going to auto-yield. And if they got Removal... All right, they didn't. Well, maybe they have something at 3. But at least they don't have Removal at 2. Otherwise, they probably would have used it. So look at this. Look at our opening... Look at our opening board state. This is pretty good right here. And our opponent's going to pass the turn. So let's kick it back over there. So we do have Flash on Bounding Krasis, which is going to be tap target creature. So our opponent has no creatures right now. But we might just end up going Beat Sticks. I think that'll be pretty good. All right, so let's go and choose Tails on this one. Lost the flip. I think we're 1 for 2 on those. And we run into Island. So let's go and drop in Island. And we'll go and swing in for a 3-2. I guess. All right, let's go and swing in for a 3-2 because we might just drop in Torrential Gearhulk next turn and just go for the Simic Smash. Why not? Sound the Simic alarms. Anything else past the turn? Yeah, you always hear Simic. You know, just tons of mana, doing goofy stuff. And let's just drop in a couple Gearhulks and go to town. Now, it looks like our opponent did miss the color mana required to get Atraxa on the battlefield, so we'll take that. So let's see what this is. I did put a pretty heavy reliance on flash stuff in here. That way we can take advantage of it on our opponent's turn. So that's going to be Kodama's Reach. So that's going to be 10, and then that'll be 16 damage if we just... Do we have enough to flash in both? Let's see. All right, so let's get to our end step. Let's flash in Gearhulk. And get the Simic Hammer going. It's gonna be 1-2, and yeah, I think we have just enough for Bounding Krasis too. Why not? So let's drop in Torrential Gearhulk. So this will be Gearhulk, And then let's drop in Bounding Crisis. Let's have some fun with this. See if our opponent has any sort of answer. Maybe they've got a board wipe, but if not, we're going to have some fun. And let's untap Volo. That way we can have some fun. Yes, we'll use that ability. Volo gets untapped. That way he feels special. And then we'll drop in Bounding Crisis, and we'll choose that one. No, we'll just click OK, because they're both fine. All right, so let's see what we draw into for the turn. We've got our Mana Crypt trigger. Let's choose Tails on this one. Lost the flip. And then we draw into Dawn Treader Elk. So let's drop in Island. It's going to swing across with the entire crew. Look at the Simic Smash button. That's going to be 10. That's going to be 19. Drop them down to 17. And let's drop in Dawn Treader Elk, which we don't have those on the battlefield. That'll be an extra copy. Oh, look at this. And we may end up, so that's going to be 10, that's going to be 16, 19, that'll be 21. So we can actually, no, we need to leave the elks up here, and we can activate that on our opponent's turn. So anything else, let's go and pass the turn over to our opponent. But this is, I mean, when you're building a weird creature package for Volo, you got to do what you got to do, and if our opponent's life total's down, it's kind of low, and we're just kind of staring at maybe an Atraxa or something like that. If we could just go for the commander, not even commander damage, if we can just go for pure combat damage, why not? Let's have some fun. Things that we do want to see for next turn, we've got old Crater Hoof hanging around here if we want to hoof it up. That's the only beast we've got in this deck. Outside of Torrential Gearhulk, we do have Dream Eater. That's another one of our kind of mid-range threat that allows us to send stuff back to our opponent's hand, and it's the only Sphinx in here. Oh, and then also, you know, if you're new to Magic, one thing I do want to say is that doesn't share a creature type. So that includes something like Fish Lizard. So I think if you have a Fish Lizard on the battlefield, not Fish Lizard, but if, you know, if we try to cast a fish, that would still count towards Bounding Crisis. So that's something you do want to keep in mind, is that if a creature has multiple types, you got to watch out for that. So, but yeah, this is a Hunger Games board state right here. Look at this. This is it. So let's see if our opponent has any sort of answer. If not, we're going to be able to get the, the combat damage win. Why not? All right, so and then we run into Orangutan with no sort of artifacts to target. So, and that is a pure target with Orangutan too. So let's go and swing in the entire crew at our opponent. That should be just enough to get it done. Oh, no, excuse me. They're going to give the -1, -0. All right, so we'll still get in for a pretty good chunk of damage. All right, so it's going to swing across. It's going to drop them down to 1. Oh, that's a bummer. Now, we have to destroy our artifacts, but we've got the board state for next turn to do this. And that'll be, do we want to just end up going for this, getting rid of Mana Crypt? Yeah, well, we have more than enough mana to rebound with Orangutan for next turn. So let's do this. Let's just go and pass the turn to our opponent. And if they have a board wipe, they can get rid of all of our creatures. If not, Jace's ability with that +1 won't stop us, because they're simply sitting at 1. Also, they're in a rough spot, because if they get some sort of fetch land, if they get Ancient Tomb down, they're sitting at 1, and they're not going to be able to pay that life. So it looks like the Simic Smash might end up working. We shall see. But outside of the creatures, we've just got a whole motley crew of creatures in here. We've got, what is it, the Dreamstalker, which is pretty creepy. I don't know exactly which one that is. Ooh, and let's see. So let's arrange it into 2 piles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think what we'll do is we'll put Cyclonic Rift in a pile. Let me just double check Jace's ability super quick. All right, so 1 pile goes into their hand. So let's do this. Let's just give them either Cyclonic Rift or Bust. You know, if they want to go for Elvish Piper, that's pretty much their entire turn. If they want to end up going for Crewfix, that's their entire turn. And they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're actually 1 away from Cyclonic Rift. So I think I split up Rift no matter what once this is happening. So let's see. And they have not made the land drop for the turn. So we'll see if they've got a land. Okay, so let's go and click OK. And we're still going to swing in. Opponent's passing the turn, so we'll see what they've got. Any sort of, you know, combat. Maybe they've got Aetherize or something like that. We'll see. All right, so we won the flip on this Mana Crypt trigger, and we run into Void Grafter. And that actually does work if they have some sort of spot removal. So let's just do this. Let's just go and swing in. We're going to send in Torrential Gearhulk. We're going to go and swing in Bounding Crisis, and we're going to send in Dawn Treader Elk. And why not go and send in Bounding Crisis too? And actually, if they have any sort of return stuff, let's do this. So let's send in Torrential Gearhulk. Let's go and send in Bounding Crisis, and we'll go and send in Dawn Treader Elk, because that'll be enough right there, and the tokens will stick around. I'm worried about some sort of return something back to the hand. So we'll see if this goes. There we go. All right, drop our opponent down to -9. A little bit of maybe overthinking that on that one. But if our opponent did have something like Aetherize, that would send everything back to the hand, at least leaving up some sort of valued board state out there right there. So anyway, got off to a quick start and got the Simic Smash, and I don't really know what this deck is trying to do other than we just have a bunch of creatures. So this is apparently a win condition for it, and I'll certainly take it. So anyway, enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Volo, Guide to Monsters. As far as our opening hand goes, yeah, we'll keep on this one. We could ship it back if we wanted to, but we've got 3 lands into Worn Power Stone, and we have an enabler with Temur Sabertooth. We have a little bit of a token generator in Spore Mound, and we've got Counterspell. So hey, we will take it. So it's going to lead off with Simic Guildgate and have that into the battlefield tapped, and then anything else, we will pass the turn over to our opponent. We're playing Volo. If Volo comes back, there we go. Volo, Guide to Monsters. Whenever you cast a creature spell that doesn't share a creature type with a creature you control or a creature card in your graveyard, copy that spell. Playing against Brallin? Can't remember. Partner with Shabraz, the Skyshark, but we're just going mono red. My goodness. What a fun start for our opponent. Let's drop in, I don't know what they got going on, but let's just go and drop in Island and keep up Counterspell, and then we'll pass the turn. So we're playing against, let's just call it Brallin for this game. And if that's wrong, I do apologize. So we're playing Brallin. Whenever you discard a card, put a +1 counter. There we go. Get to the main phase. Put a +1 counter on Brallin. It does 1 damage to each opponent. Then for red activated ability, target shark gains trample until end of turn. And if this is, yeah, we'll go into Heb on that one. We're cool with that. It's going to send the Heb back into the commands, or back into the graveyard. And then next turn, we'll be able to go for Forest and go for Worn Power Stone and get the party started. So let's go for Worn Power Stone. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Excuse me, 3. And then anything else, pass the turn to our opponent. We did cover both commanders. Yeah, we did. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, TCG Player. If you go to bit.ly/JoltMTG, that will apply my affiliate link. That'll allow you to get some cards and help support the channel at the same time. So if you use that link, much obliged. Certainly appreciate it. Let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders. Let's also give a quick, hey, Shabraz isn't in there, Brallin. I'm sorry, buddy. I do that all the time with Virtus when Grom's not in there, or Gorm, and they're not there. It always makes you sad, like they're like calling out for their buddy, and their buddy's not there. Also, let's give a quick shout out to ingaming.com. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to directly support cool content like this, there's a link down in the description below. But if you're keeping score at home, it is officially free time. Our opponent's got Bag of Holding out there, which is working really well with that discard ability. So, all right, see what we're drawn to. That is going to be Scut Swarm. So let's get Volo on the battlefield. I like that because we got some pretty good stuff that we can be doing for next turn. Casting a Scut Swarm or casting Mole Drifter, getting both of those. Yeah, that sounds a pretty good plan. And then anything else, pass the turn over to our opponent. But yes, this creature package, other than just a super slight oversight, everything in here is independent of each other. If you think about building Volo, one thing I do want to mention is that Human Wizard does count. As human and wizard, you know, it's not just one creature type on there, you know, just like human shaman, you know, there's 2 different identifying creature types on that. So when you're building it, you do need to have, if it's blank blank, you still need to keep that in mind. But a lot of the stuff that we did in here, I just went to Scryfall, and I kind of started with a few foundation pieces of where I wanted the deck to go. And as I was still filtering cards through Scryfall, I would just kind of hone in on certain key terms like, you know, the battlefield, draw effects, create, and I just kind of built a total little creature pack. As you can see, we've got them spread out. We've got Temur Sabertooth, that's the only cat in the deck. Spore Mound is going to be a token producer, and that's going to give us the only fungus. Only elemental is going to be Mole Drifter, Scut Swarm, the only insect in the deck. And that's one of the fun things about building a Volo deck is that, you know, a lot of Simic decks, you do get kind of sound the Simic alarms on it, where it's like, what am I playing against? But if you end up building a Volo that is just this wild creature package, the game is just goofy. So, in fact, let me show you. So let's go and drop in Scut Swarm. It's going to be 1, 2. That's going to be an extra copy, so it's going to be Scut Swarm, Scut Swarm. Let's drop in Prismatic Vista. Let's go ahead and crack Prismatic Vista. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves a Forest, because we got 2 blue sources. Yeah, we'll go and grab a Forest. That Forest enters the battlefield untapped 2. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, look at all these insect tokens. Ah, yes. And I think what we'll end up doing is going for Mole Drifter. So we're going to go for the Evoke off of this. I don't know how the copy works with Evoke. I think it's just going to be on the battlefield. We'll see. All right, so we get the Evoke trigger. That's going to be drawing 2 cards off of Mold Drifter. Worldly Tutor. Could be we could hoof it up pretty quick, I think. Let's get that on there. Draw 2 cards. And then we run into Cyclonic Rift, and that's the Evoke. So anything else? Let's go and pass the turn to our opponent. That's a pretty good little turn. Let's go and get in for 3. Why not? Shields are down. Swing in for 3, drop our opponent down to 32. And then we'll pass the turn. Yeah, Crater Hoof's going to be 8. Let me make sure. Yeah, Crater Hoof's 8 mana. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we only have 1 island. So we're actually 1 away if we put Crater Hoof on top. The thing with Worldly Tutor is that they're going to immediately know that Crater Hoof is out there. So we'll see exactly what we want to do. We do have Orangutan that we can go for next turn. So if we want to kind of set up a Spore Mound, Orangutan, and then Worldly Tutor line of play, well, either way, that's still going to be 8. I wouldn't mind getting rid of Bag of Holding with them not having access to 4 mana. Well, unless they go for it now. Because we can always rift it back to our opponent's hand. So, all right, so our opponent does end up sending everything back to their hands. So let's see what they got. We do have Brallin sitting at an 8/8 if they swing in. That'll put us at 15 commander damage. So we'll see what we can do about it. At the very least, we've got Cyclonic Rift to send everything back to the hand, which with how low converted mana cost all their stuff is, it almost just really wouldn't do anything. I know, Kiki, they got some cheap spells out there. If you heard that meow, that is my production assistant, Dorothy. She's meowing. I guess she was scared of what that Bag of Holding has to offer, so we'll see exactly what they've got. And I guess the only thing we need to watch out for would be if their commander gets to just enough commander damage. That wouldn't be that good, so... Okay, so our opponent's going to go for Chaos Warp on Mana Vault, okay. Let's see, that's a Mana Vault into Mountain. And I'm trying to figure out what their payoff is. So put it whenever you discard a card, so they're going to start cycling. Okay. Let's just go and always yield to this. And I may let them kind of do... I don't know if they're trying to go off or something right now, so I may just kind of let them do their thing and then talk about it whenever it's over. Okay, so that's going to be them swinging in. That's going to be a 10-10. And once again, Crater Hoof is going to be 8. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're actually... Yeah, we're away from that one. Do we still want to end up... We can always end up going Worldly Tutor next turn. So let's do this. Let's just go and pass the turn. And I think we still might end up going Cyclonic Rift. Let's drop in Waterlogged Grove. That's going to be a couple more insects on the battlefield. And eventually we're starting to get some... Yeah, there we go. We're going to start to get some copies of Scut Swarm. And so what we may end up doing... is we might end up just rifting right now because it sends everything back to their hand. Then they have to rebuild for next turn. And then we could... Yeah, because we can still get in for a pretty good chunk of damage right now. Or do we want to try to orangutan? They've got flying. Is that correct? No, it's simply just... Yeah, it's simply just a 10-10 with no trample that we can stop. But it can gain trample with an activated ability. So let's do this. So let's drop in Orangutan. That's going to be 1/2. We're going to get an extra copy of it. So we're going to be able to destroy... The downside is we're not going to be able to take care of Tectonic, getting rid of that cycling ability. And let's go ahead and destroy Mana Crypt. And then let's go ahead and destroy Mox Opal. And then I think... Yeah, let's go and swing in... Because we can swing it with the entire crew, but if we're going to end up Crater Hoofing, I think we're going to have it next turn anyway. So maybe we wait to rift during their turn? Because we might want to do it in response to something. Yeah, let's just do that. So let's just go and pass the turn, because we're going to have as many creatures on the battlefield, because we can go Worldly Tutor and then Cyclonic Rift for next turn. Yeah, let's do that. So let's just go and pass the turn. We're playing against Mono Red, so we don't really have to worry about them having some sort of crazy interaction with Crater Hoof entering on the battlefield, so we can simply just pass the turn. Maybe they've got some sort of wheel effect, and we can, in response to that wheel effect, send Brallin back to their hand, and that way we can get the commander tax going up on that. So, and if they want to start pinging us for damage, they certainly can, but I think we're going to be able to, if we do the Rift, Worldly Tutor, Crater Hoof line of play, I think we're going to be able to get it on this one. So let's see what they've got for the turn. Okay, so that's going to be Wheel of Fortune. So let's go Cyclonic Rift on Brallin. That's going to be 1/2. And then we can still Worldly Tutor and put that creature on top because we'll draw into Crater Hoof, which is exactly what we want to see. So let's go Worldly Tutor, and let's put Crater Hoof on top. So let's get this popped out. Where are you, Crater Hoof? There we go. All right, so we're going to put Crater Hoof on top of our library. That's going to allow us to go for Wheel of Fortune, and that'll send their commander back to the command zone, and we'll be in a pretty good spot. There we go. All right, so we've got, and actually we do draw the Negate, and we do draw the Disdainful Stroke. So even if they do have, and also Delay, so that is perfect because we have access to enough mana to basically stop whatever sort of payoff card. All right, there we go. Opponent's going to scoop it up on that one. We've got Crater Hoof on top of our library. We willed into it. Very thankfully, we drew into Disdainful Stroke, Negate, and Delay. So even if they had some sort of answer out there, we're going to be able to send it back. And then next turn, we're going to hoof it up with Crater Hoof. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, yeah. That's hoofing it up right there. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.